Hey guys, good day to all.
Yeah, Shishu.
Hello, can anybody hear me?
Yeah, Vishwa, you can.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Hey guys, sorry. I'm just getting drilled with the previous meeting. All right, so let me start sharing here. Okay, so this is, should be able to see my screen. No? Stop sharing. I thought I got the right one. Screen one. Okay, well, we'll do it this way today. All right, so this is the uh, ORAN meeting for January 24th. We have on the agenda, we're going through a set of uh, use cases that we're going to look at to announce. Hopefully, we can agree to it, that we're ready to announce to the network automation and SIG teams, so we can start doing reviews of this with network automation. We also have some notes that we need to approve. Is there any other items that we need to discuss today? All right, so let's just get started. So the first one is approval of the January 24th meeting notes. They're listed here. And I would ask, does anyone have a concern with just approving the notes as we took them last week? Or last week. All right, I don't see any hand raised, no chat. Okay, all right. So the next one is we have a series of 4 use cases that we say that's ready for network automation. This includes the reconfigure, the NF orchestration using the SMO, OCloud registration and deployment. So right now I had them as they came in and people gave me thumbs up that they were ready. Do we want to, we're going to spend the next 55 minutes doing this. Is there a particular priority that someone needs to have because they're leaving, or
Tim, if you could allow our team to actually present an if you're this one. Yeah, second one, user story.
second one first?
Second one first, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right, let's do that. All right, so let's do that. Let's start with that one. Are there, and let's time box this, guys. We got 4 of them and we got 55 minutes. So you got 10 to 15 minutes apiece, right? So let's start that now. Who's going to present the SMO?
I'll do it.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and try to take notes.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Let me be quick. So I'll actually go as fast as I can.
I'll give you a time when you're about 3 minutes out.
Thanks a
Right?
lot. Thanks a lot. I'll go as fast as possible, guys. Yeah. So we, as in me, Ravi, Sagar, Sishi, and also Vishal, have come together to have this slide deck done. The important thing I want to emphasize is that we also have got the helping hand from Capgemini. Apart from the OI, Wind River, and F5 teams, we also got the helping hand coming from Capgemini to have this story implemented. We also got it reviewed yesterday in the OSC meeting where we have all the PTLs. We even got their approval also from the perspective of what we are trying to do. The OSC, I'm talking about all the PTLs who are handling the specific components that we are actually targeting as part of this thing. So that's also done. Also, we have discussed this in the last meeting TOC meeting. There also we have got some approvals. Even tomorrow, if time permits, we'll also try to present it in the talk. And next week, again, we will be having a detailed session on this in the SMO call also. So that's about this, the OSC call. OSC also has actually shown interest on this, and they are also excited to have this momentum going on. So quickly coming on to this, what we have is this one. I mean, we have highlighted the new changes that are going to be brought in. The NFO part, which we said is not there right now for the KT's profile, is actually going to be complete new. FOCOM part, we have to even do it from the perspective of operator. So these two will be operator based, so that we can actually sort it back into the KT's operator. The way we have discussed first is that we will implement it in the OSC, SMO, and then we will actually also piggyback it back to NEFIO. So we adapt it to NEFIO. Taking into consideration that a complete design has been made in line to the NEFIO principles, also taking into OSC into consideration, because first we want to integrate with OSC other components also, and also we want to make it NEFIO compatible as we move on. That's the whole idea about it. Guys, again, I'm going a little fast. Please pause me if you have any questions, or maybe we can have the questions at the last. So yeah, the other thing is actually the IMS, DMS pieces. We are highlighting the specific things which are there. We want to highlight both what is the terminology of OSC, versus what is the terminology of NEFIO. So I think that is the whole purpose of having these brackets and all, nothing else. So it's actually in line to what we have been discussing on. The current payload we have targeted is the CU, CP, CU, UP, and then DU. We are also having the
Sorry, real quick, Seshu, I just want to make sure I understand. So the OSC INF cloud, central cloud, this is OSC is going to build the IMS and the DMS. Is that correct?
Yes, we already have IMS and DMS components as part of the INF. Okay. We are going to
I want to make sure that you so Ravi and Alexis are also have some IMS and DMS responsibilities. Yes. So that was all done. They're aligned with this. Is that accurate?
Right, Ravi, we have already discussed. Alexei, we have to even sync up with Alexei. I could not find him in the last few days, but we will also sync up with Alexei. Ravi, we are already in sync with this. So we have started with OSC here, but we'll talk about it, Jimmy. I mean, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, I said Bala. Bala, I think, is doing the Bala. Bala and Alexis is doing the Craig cluster.
As I said, we will sync up with Alexis. I mean, in the Red Hat team, I'm talking Bala and Alexei. In fact, we have Vishwa also here. So we'll sync up surely with them. We wanted to first check with OSC. That's what we did yesterday. And this coming week is when we will also sync up with the Red Hat team. Actually, that's Bala, Alexei.
Yeah, Alexei is on vacation.
Oh, that is the reason why he's not able to respond. Okay, I tried to call.
But Bala is.
Sure, I'll reach out to Bala, no problem. I have his contact. I'll reach out to him directly. Sure. I'll set up a call with him and we'll do it. Vishwa, I also need your help to pass on this message. I'll anyways call. I mean, I'll have a call with Bala. But Vishwa, if you can also have if
okay. Yeah, sure. Sorry, I was out for the last 3 weeks. My mom had passed away. So today's the day I'm back.
Sorry. So sorry to hear, buddy. So sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, may rest.
No worries.
Yeah.
All right. So, but the thing that I want to do though, Seshu, is on this particular one, I want to make sure that we have that agreement before we go talk to network automation.
Okay? Yeah, as I said, we will do it this week. No problem.
Okay.
We will do it this week. No, you have my complete thing that we will try to resolve as much as possible everything by this month end before you go to network automation. That's the plan. Okay.
Yeah, but they're asking things to trickle in. I'm just saying that we're going to gate this one until that's agreement is there, right?
Yeah.
And we might trickle other ones in. All right, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, sure. So we have considered everything. As I said, we will first implement it in the OSC. So we have put that in the OSC perspective, and hence I've also highlighted what is there. But the same will also be compatible with this. By the way, what we will be implementing here, we'll talk about it. I mean, Jimmy, just give me 2 minutes. By the time we come to slide 4, most of the questions will be answered, Tim. Okay. So yeah, that's what we are talking about. And then we also have a stretch call where we will have a calls. I mean, a call, I would not say call setup. We don't have the core, but at least a connectivity setup between the emulated UE, the DU and the CU. This is what also we will try to have the setup on. Okay. So quickly again, what is the scope and priority? As I said, deployment of AUDU. Again, we are talking about Helm charts for the OSC and then extension to KPT packages for the NEFIO R2. This second part is actually what will be extension to NEFIO R2, which we have done. And why we are doing it is to just make sure that we will continue the current work, which is already done in NEFIO, nothing to be broken. And Sagar is actually going to help us for this. Also, what we are trying, why we are going with Helm chart is because we have discussed with Sagar and we have actually come up with the complete details. So as part of this, what we decided is to have the Helm chart based implementation, which is very close to what OS is currently doing it. Okay. Hence, we have taken this approaches. Stretch is actually where we will also try to do delete. Delete is not in the scope when we decided it, but we will see if we can do it. Delete, we will also try to do it. Update and modify not in the scope of the current release. Okay. I hope this is in line to what we have discussed. Now, next step is where we are talking about development of NFO. Here we are talking about what is new development, what is to be reused, and what is to be modified. So what we are saying is we will see that NFO is not there. NFO KDS profile is not there. So it will be complete new development. We will also try to reuse some of the components of DMS and all these OSC components that I talked about. We have already discussed with these corresponding PTLs of them. We got the approval for even the OSC to have their helping hand coming forward. So we will also have integration testing with them as part of the complete, the scenario. By the way, one more thing is we are targeting the J release of OSC and R3 release of Nefio, which are very much going by H1 timeframe. Okay, that is also something we want to make sure that we have the overlap of the release cycle. So that's the whole purpose of this. And reuse of the Nefio R2 code, as I said before in the slide 2, that we will try to keep it as much, without making any disruption to what has been developed in Nefio, we'll actually take it as an extension to that. That's the whole idea about it. And Helm charts of OAI already ready, so we will be reusing that for the OAC scenario. Okay. These are the steps, what we started about. The prerequisite, again, when I say prerequisite, these are the things which have to be done before we come to the actual scope of this requirement, because certain things in this are not ready in the OSC. So OSC again has some ifs and buts with respect to the FOCOM part. So we are trying to make them ready. The first and foremost thing is the SMO component, that is actually FOCOM enough of OSC are to be deployed on the management cluster. FOCOM creates a KATS Edge cluster cloud where some virtual cluster and DMS is brought up in the process. Then FOCOM installs the necessary CRDs and operators required to handle the enough deployment in the desired KSS cluster. By this, we are making it ready. We are hydrating the DMS so that it can be ready for getting the Nefio package also. Here is a step where we will actually sync up with the other team also, which is doing the create cluster. So this step C is actually where we will have a sync up between both the teams. The cluster registration is actually what we will use the current APIs which are there. And then the most important thing is there is already IMSDB inside the OIC. We will try to reuse it. In case of Nefio, we will take up whatever is coming out of the use story 1. Helm charts and other deployment artifacts should be available by necessary. This is actually prerequisite. We are saying that we should actually have this all deployment artifacts ready so that we can go with a complete smoothing. Other thing we are also talking about is, as part of integration test, we will actually have a manual deployment of this just to make sure things are okay. Then we will actually start the automation process. That's the idea with which we are moving ahead. The NFO should be stretch code. Should fetch the DMS information. For this, we have already identified IPS. We are working on this as part of the corresponding slides down. The NFO will receive the request for CUCP deployment, and here we are talking about one as we said last in the last meeting, we are taking it as one black box. So that just comes as a request right now. We will actually enhance it further once service orchestration piece is ready. And we get more clarity on with respect to spec and all. But right now we are thinking about that as coming as one black box or one Helm chart package, and the deployment just happens from the NFO perspective. Same is the case with CUP and DU also. And we'll try to bring up all three components. Then we will actually use the KPT packages also, if and ready with Nefio also. By we are saying if and ready, so we will actually make sure that we will sync up with this too. So that is the point which we are just talking about. The C and D here are the points which will actually give the integration from Nefio perspective also. We will take the use case 1. Once use case 1 is ready, they will actually report that way also. The second thing is this will be first implement the OS and Nefio ported. That's what I've been telling about, ported to Nefio. Integration test, the idea is to make sure that we actually have the UE emulated package of Nefio used in R2. That's what we have recently done, right? Sagar and team have done that. So we as a team will be making usage of the same thing, and we will try to replicate it. Also, there were some suggestions and helping hands coming from the OSC side that they have other packages which have been used so far. So we will also try to onboard them if time permits. But if not for the J release or the current time frame of H1, we will try to do it in the upcoming releases. And we will also try to see how we can actually port it back to Nefio in the long run. But we also see a lot of encouragement coming from the OSC community here, that they are also trying to provide their helping hand. And we want to have as much as unition in this entire process. So I hope I have answered your question from the C and D. I have already highlighted that. Sorry, C and D I'm talking about, Tim. Yeah, but I will also...
So that you answered the question. So now I'm just making sure that you got the artifacts that you need for the automation. You have about 3 minutes though, so let's make sure that you have at least the artifacts are there and ask for people if they have questions.
Artifacts have already been verified. Sagar, you can actually talk about the artifacts part. Sagar?
Yeah. So yes, whatever artifacts which we need for this particular use case, we have it. Let's say.
Do you need any new APIs? I guess the question the network automation team is going to ask. Do you need any APIs or artifacts?
Yeah, artifacts. Sorry, go ahead.
No, not really. From Nefio side, no, we don't really need to extend anything for this particular use case. Helm charts we have there. Nefio will not do anything that much, and then the operators which are developed in R2 will be used directly. So not necessarily. There are no changes.
Yeah, from a southbound perspective, I don't think we need any changes, Tim. But I think from the northbound intent perspective, or something to trigger this whole kind of processing of the network function deployment, I think that will be a new CR here.
Yeah, but that's not Nefio related. That's OSC related, right, Ravi?
No, I think that that CR will be part of the Nephew management cluster. So you'll have to develop that CRD.
But not in the
And
R3
because
scope. Ravi, that's not in the R3 scope right now, isn't it?
no, I mean it's you have that. See there. I think this is. I'm sorry, I'm in trial right now. In the second deployment, I think somewhere we said that NFO is going to receive the request.
Yes.
So that I'm talking about that request there. So something has to trigger that request. I think that will be a very basic CR to trigger that request. I mean, probably it will just say, okay, these are the set of this is the topology, like this is CU, UP, CP, and DU, and probably some cloud IDs, and then you would deploy it, right? Something has to trigger it.
So Seishu, do you have that documented down?
No. What we have said is, as part of the user story, we said that will be triggering, the trigger factor will be coming as part of the REST call. So we kept it open because once we have service orchestration ready, that's what we discussed with last meeting, right? Once service orchestration piece is ready, we will actually club it down there. We don't want to complicate it right now. We will actually keep it a simple REST call, and that will be triggered from Postman or CLI-based REST call. That's what we will do.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I think there is some slides on APIs too. I don't think we went through that, but
okay. So I just wanted to make sure that we highlight, because it's the network automation that you're giving it to.
Sure.
That
I can put that here.
what is it that we expect Nefio to change or provide that's different?
It will not be Nefio specific alone, because that has to even come from both the communities. That's not yet ready. And so what we'll say is okay.
Yeah, but that's not a Nefio API. I mean,
It's not Nefio. It will not be Nefio API.
Okay. All right. That's what I was trying to get at. Right?
Yeah, it will not be Nefio API.
Where from the network automation Nefio team, they're like going, I give you release 2 and you're good. You don't need anything more from us.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Yeah. That will be like, from Nefio perspective, we'll give the API which has to be triggered to there. They're not the other way. Not the other way.
All right. There's a PMO admin that I don't know what that is. So
Yeah, sorry, this is my name. I logged in.
Hey,
Hi, Bala.
Don't worry.
Hey, sorry. Yeah, I think let me change my name. Okay.
There you go.
Sorry.
Hey, Bala. Guys, I'm gonna stop it in 5 minutes because we really got to get to the other ones too.
Yeah, I just have one question related to what Ravi said. Stephen and team has been working on a topology controller where they express the high-level intent of network functions deployment. For example, they say, I want this many UPFs, this many SMFs. I need to deploy it in a certain way and onto these clusters. Ravi, were you alluding to that as a triggering point for this, as a Nefio CRD?
I'm again, I'm not completely in sync with the API, the REST-based API that Seishu alluded to, but I was thinking from that perspective. I was thinking probably we should be using the topology CR and with some extensions, ORAN extensions to have NFO start the deployment process. But I think there's again this other thing about lining up with OSC. So let me, I mean, I'll look at that. If there's a document, we can look at that as well.
Yeah, I think Stephen has pushed that code into the Nefio experimental. Probably in one of these calls, probably we can ask him what the intention is. The intention the original intention was a user to intent the topology, like I want this many, I want this is the network topology of 5G core I want, and these are my clusters, and go ahead and deploy it. So I think probably that may gel well with this particular story as a northbound integration perspective. So we can talk to Stephen and understand that.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah. I'll look at. I know I'm aware of that, and probably I haven't read it since that's been there for some time.
That'll come somewhere here, right? That'll come in the service orchestration piece, isn't it?
I think so.
Right,
Yes, somewhere there.
So,
Yes. Yeah.
what we were talking last time, Bala, was that in fact we have guys from we have other guys also who were talking about Joey and Joey for sure. I think it was someone else from Ericsson again. So what we're thinking about is service orchestration is something which we will do it as part of the intent-driven homing placement. All these three, right? Will be coming as part of this piece, which we will develop as we go forward. So this will be a federation. I mean, this will be like a north-south integration point, which will be delegated. This will be more like an adapter to this thing. Again, adapter is not the right word. Sorry for using that as a term, but I would say, a NFVO versus SO, right? That's how it will be. So service orchestration will do the entire thing, and it's like going to give you the specific piece. Piece by piece is going to come to the NFO. NFO is going to orchestrate that. So we have started the bottom-up approach where we will start with what is to be done from NFO. And then once we have more clarity, even because there is a sidetrack happening on the ORAN spec side, ORAN workgroup 6, also workgroup 1, mainly workgroup 1, where we are discussing about service orchestration, what should be there and what should be the specifications coming out of it. So there's a parallel track happening on. Once we have more clarity on it, we will try to gel these two. That was something which we decided last time, but it's in line to what you just said. Yes, that is exactly the story which we are looking at as an outbound for this, which will actually have the complete pipeline. I would rather say workflow or pipeline, right? To see how many, to have the complete split of what is service considered of, and each of them to be going to which call. When should I go for a new cluster? What cluster should I pick up on, and what should be the orchestration to be done on that? Where we will also have inventory. By the way, we said inventory is out of scope for the current requirement. But for that, even if inventory comes up, it will be much better to have the complete end-to-end built, right?
Okay, cool. Thank you, Seshu. Yeah.
By the way, one more thing, Bala, we were actually having action item. I'll be in touch with you offline also. We have to just go to this thing, and we require 2 integration points from the other create cluster part, right? Which Alexi is leading it, and you're also contributing to it. Where we are talking about this point number C. Anyways, these slides are available. So point number C and this point number D. Right? These two is what I have put specifically here, where we will be discussing about the same thing, what we are doing on OIC, how will we be able to port it or have it as part of NFO also. That part, I've kept it open. I was trying to reach Alexi, but I just got to know that he's on vacation. So I'll reach out to you and we can discuss on it offline. Okay.
Sure. Thanks, Seshu. Yeah.
All right, guys. So it's 10:25. Thank you. Is there any other questions or concerns about the direction going forward with it? I know we got to work that API.
Stefan here. Just a clarification on this bullet 3. You mentioned OSC will complete the implementation. You first implemented in OSC and then ported it to NFO. So what will this mean? Is it like OSC will invent their own like packaging and everything first, and then you will move it over to NFO packages, or will they consider NFO themselves as a design base?
We are doing both the things together. We are not, I mean, it's a parallel track. It's not like we'll complete that first. But what I'm trying to talk about with respect to that first, and this is from OSC perspective, this is a prerequisite. So we will start off this prerequisite and then we'll come back to NFO also. That's what I was trying to explain. By the way, this has been discussed even with John, from the OSC, ORAN, I would say.
John, could you give that name? I wondered, we were not sure who is John, it from the OSC side that you are syncing with?
Yeah, we are syncing with all these PTLs of this thing. John is actually coming from Ericsson. He's a part of the near real-time PTL of OSC, okay, ORAN SC. And he's also there as part of the current discussions which we have. Yesterday is what we got even reviewed by him too.
Oh. So he is involved in how you will do the NFO, CNF deployment.
The integration part, the RIC part and other things. He's also involved.
The RIC part, yeah. But I'm thinking.
NFO is not there. Right now we don't have anything in NFO in
Right.
So we will start the whole point is the same. When we start, we want to make sure that it's actually compatible with both NFO and the OSC. By OSC, I'm talking about the southbound components, right? The other components which we have. So we want to make sure that we don't reinvent the wheel. When we start off as a fresh component, we want to make sure that coexists with existing components of the OSC, and also we can extend it further to the NFO. That's the whole purpose of this. Steven, make sense? Hello?
Yeah, I'm just thinking here, but we can sync that there. Who do you say, John?
John.
Yeah.
What was his name? 1 minute. I'll give you the name. Okay, I'll give you a name.
Non-arteric PTL,
John Kinney.
John Kinney.
John
Yeah.
Kinney. Yeah.
Kinney,
Okay. So we will
All right.
we will check with him then. That's
Sure.
fine. Then
Yeah.
we,
All right,
we know
so-
where to start. Yeah. So, thanks.
All right. So Rohit, I'm going to allow you to have the last word, and then we're moving on, guys.
Yeah, sorry, I want me to share again.
Rohit, you had the question,
Rohit?
Mr. Sharma? Okay, so last chance. Sharma? D-Tag? Okay, so what we're going to do is go talk to the if you have any additional questions, it's available there for commenting, and you can make your comments. I recorded what I could on this, but basically we've got some work to do, working out with Bala and then on that northbound API. You tell me, Seishu, when you guys are ready to take it to network automation. Okay, once those things are resolved.
Yeah, sure.
Next one is
we'll notify you once we have the clarity on this, and we will also intimate you on this. Yeah.
Right. And then I'll let the guys know we'll get a scheduled time, because I don't want to waste your guys' time going to all these RX scope meetings. You don't need to be there. All right. So reconfigure ORAN NF is next. So who has that?
Yeah, it's me. Just a moment.
All right. Let's see if we can do it in 10 minutes, right?
I mean, yeah, I can do it in 5 minutes.
Challenge accepted.
Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Okay. So now I don't know how many of you are able to go through this document, once I restructured it. So after restructuring, I made it very clear that here in the reconfigure NF, we're not gonna do O1. It's in future. I removed the configuration. I removed the confusion when I wrote R3 and beyond. I just wrote now in future releases of Nefio. So the R3 will not focus on O1. So, and then to reconfigure the NF, what we'll do is that I explain in the component architecture here is that, let's say, so what will be the trigger for reconfiguring the NF is a different story. So I consider that there is a trigger from one entity, either a user manually reconfigures the NF, or there's an automatic entity somewhere in Nefio which reads some statistics from the RAN and it sends a reconfiguration. So in that regards, what will happen that if we think that the Nefio sends a reconfiguration of the DU, which will be wrapped inside NF config CR. So this CR we use to define the configuration of the network function. And this is similar for all the network functions, whether AMF, SMF, or core or RAN network functions. So there will be the new configuration, which is there inside the NF config CR. The RAN operator will process this information, and then it will update the DU configuration parameters. So now, to interact with DU, there are two ways, by the way, to do this configuration change. So for now, OAI-DU, the only way you can interact with OAI-DU to reconfigure its parameters, let's say bandwidth on the fly, we need to use its telnet server. OAI-DU cannot read the config map and automatically configures it. The config maps are used only to change the startup configuration, not the running configuration. So for running configuration, we have to use the telnet server, and the RAN operator will talk to the telnet server, and it will also update the config map so that the config maps are in sync, so that the startup configuration is sync with the running configuration, and then telnet server will update the running configuration, and then it will reply back with the proper messages that it's successful or not. And then I wrote it in stretch that this is on OAI, that's with my team, that we will work on reading the config maps only, and we will read the config maps and update the configuration on the fly, so that we don't have to use telnet, which is more, let's say, cloud native. So in this way, what will happen, then the RAN KATS operator will just change the config maps which are created for the DU, and then the DU will find that the config maps have been changed, and then it will update its configuration. But this is work, which is on OAI. So this is software work on our with us on our team. So that's why I wrote it on stretch. I'll try to finish it between our three. And then the kind of the software development which we need. So I divided that also based on these cases. I divided them in case 1 and case 2. So the general development which we need is that first we need to update the RAN operator which was made, because the RAN operator which was made for R2 is using a specific, let's say, an image of OAI from a particular for a particular tag. We need to update the tag. We need to change certain things in the RAN operator. I have identified already what will be changed. It's mostly related to how we give the configuration and how we start it. So we need to change the command to start the network functions and things like that. So I have highlighted it here, and then I've highlighted for each and every case what changes needs to be done, like what software development needs to be done for case 1 and case 2. And that's it. And all the API, all the flows are explained here in the.
So Sagar, just I'll ask the same question. So from the network automation team, are we envisioning anything new? So Sagar, I'm going to step out for a minute. So if you can just answer that to the group.
Yeah, sure. So for network automation, the needed software development part is the one which we need. Meanwhile, Tim is not here. Do you guys want to ask any question? Anybody, any questions? Any remark?
Yeah, I think the flow diagram which you just showed is also in sync with what we are talking about, right? The KDS operator part, that can be reused even for NFO.
Yes, that's the thing which we'll reuse after Helmholtz.
Yes. So this also is something which is, in fact, we can just copy paste this also, the NFO part for NFO. Yeah. I was just trying to say that.
One question, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to, I'm sorry, I had to step out for a quick second. So we're saying that there's nothing new, right? Is that right?
There is new. So Tim, that's what I mentioned. We need software development, we need it. These are all the changes we need.
Okay, good. Just as long as you're going to document, I'll let you guys speak now. Okay.
Yeah, it's already documented. I already talked with the people who will make the changes. Yeah, I think Naman or somebody from Joseph's team, they will do the changes. I'll help them. Absolutely. Of course.
A quick clarification, Sagar, did you say you would need a new binary for this, in the sense like container image would be entirely different, or you said you'll tag? Really? Oh,
yes,
okay. I thought you were just
different
changing
tag
the configuration.
Okay. No, it's a different tag, because right now the tag which we are using in R2, it's older. So we would like to update, because OEI releases new images every week, let's say. So every week we make some configuration changes, that way. So it's OEI new.
Okay. I thought when you after applying the config map. No, okay, got it.
Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah.
So basically it's for the version change, not for the specific code change, right? It's only for version upgrade. That is coming.
Yes, it's a version upgrade of OAI network functions and all.
Makes sense. Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, is there any objection or concerns that we have by taking this to the network automation team as it is? All right, I don't see any hands, so I'm going to go ahead and make the announcement that this is ready for network automation, and we'll have them schedule it for when they think they can feed it back. Okay. All right, I've recorded that. The next one is OCloud registration. Who has that? I think who has that? Anders? Is that you?
I can give it a try. Let's see how okay. I just need to figure out how to share on this thing. And open my document. So for being a bit slow, I haven't done this on here. So let me know when you can start seeing things. So you see this?
We see your screen. We see your screen. It's got a bunch of windows on it. So Slack, Outlook, Document, Drive, Zoom.
Oh, then it's lagging. I hope.
It's like, because no one's going to read it, man.
Yeah.
You can stop the share and reshare again, Andres.
Yeah, I think I need to do that. So let's try again. See if it works better this time.
There you go. Yep. Got it.
Yeah, okay. So to keep things simple, what we're trying to achieve in this use case is to register a workload cluster with FOCOM that has not been created, or rather, that has not been created by our Nephew IMS or a known ORAN IMS. It's a cluster managed by somebody else. And they basically give us.
Anders, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make sure I understand. So there's a use case document that was in a folder that's called OCloud registration, but it's not what you're showing. So what is it that we're doing for OCloud registration? So this is what we said we would do would we do a registration of an OCloud, a cluster registration of an OCloud across the IMS.
It's not an OCloud registration. It's a workload cluster registration, a Kubernetes cluster registration. It's not the ORAN use case.
Okay, so I'll listen. I'm not quite sure what we're doing here, but okay. All right. So if it's just a cluster registration, I don't know if it needs to be in the ORAN group, but maybe I'm missing something. So I'll just wait.
What I think as well, but I was asked to bring it here to show it to you because maybe if I start here.
Yep. So I'm going to give you 10 minutes to do this. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. And any questions anytime. So what I am trying to do is I'm leveraging the cluster creation use case that we have looked at. And I'm assuming that some admin has created a cluster that looks exactly the same as if we would have created it. It has the same prerequisites, it has the same CRDs, CNIs, NADs, and so on. Same operators, same DMS privileges. And then what I would expect us to do at a cluster registration is essentially to provide through a request the same information that we would get in response to a create cluster. And from there on, I'm hoping that we should be able to form all the application deployment use case in LCM towards this cluster, but of course not life cycling the cluster from FOCOM. So that's long story short.
I think we are not able to see your screen. Is it only for me?
Is there a problem?
No, I can see the feature cluster registration you have, right? So you're not seeing that on your?
I can see it.
No, for me it is coming. Andrew Henson has started sharing screen, just a black screen. But
I am able to see though.
Maybe problem at my end, no problem.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to show you is a sequence diagram.
No, we're not seeing that at all. We're just seeing the feature.
Cluster registration,
think
that's
I
where we
have-
are stuck at. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, okay. So then I have a lagging problem. Somehow.
Okay, so let's do this, Anders.
Hmm.
Can we reschedule this for next week?
Yes. So
Okay,
what I wanted, I think the purpose.
But I
of
need
bringing it-
I need a link, right? So people can look at this stuff ahead of time and comment
Yes.
on it. Is that what you're
That was
asking
the-
for?
That was the intention, to share this
Yeah.
so that we can start getting feedback. And then I think, as you rightfully said, the agreement is that we have to bring this to SIG 1 and not here, because it's not an ORAN case. It's an odd case. But we wanted to show it here because we have a dependency or close affinity to the cluster creation use case and get
Yes.
feedback.
Yeah, I understand that. Okay. Do me a favor. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to note that this is that this exists. If you can give me the link to where you guys are documenting it, I'll put the link in there and I'll request the team to review and provide feedback for you. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
That
You
works
got it.
fine.
All right.
Thank
Sure.
you.
All right, guys. And so the next one is the SMO, or I'm sorry, the non-real-time REC deployment. So, Naaman, I believe it's you. Did I get that right?
Yeah, hi Tim. Yeah, Naman. Actually, it is Naman.
Naman,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So I have shared my screen. Hope it's visible to all. Just let me know.
We can see your screen.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so this user story, I hope I think Tim and Anders have already commented on this. So I think everyone has gone through this user story. So this user story is basically deploying the near-RT and XApp without SMO, or we can say with the help of Nephew, the Nephew way. So these things have already been updated earlier, and it's just the overview. We need to deploy near-RT using the operator that is available in the ORAN SC. So the KTS operator to deploy near-RT and XApp. So I have updated the architecture. Basically, it will involve 2 steps. Deploy the RIC operator first, which is there in ORAN SC. In fact, I only worked on it. And then create the CRD. So a custom CRD, which is available in the ORAN SC, or we can go for Nephew defined NF deployment CRD. So as of now, Nephew defined NF deployment CRD, I didn't find anything that can be used. So from the initial research that I did, so we'll go with the CRD that is there in ORAN SC. For deploying the near-RT. So once the operator is deployed, we will deploy the near-RT with the help of the operator that we have deployed. So for each step, I'll go through what are the steps involved in detail, and what is exactly the flow. And if you have any questions after that, do let me know. So for deploying the RIC operator, first we need to create the KPT package. And once we create the KPT package, we can also put the CRD, since it's a custom CRD. So we will put it inside the package itself. So for the near-RT, so the CRD that we have created in ORAN SC. So then we can create the package variant set to deploy it across the edge cluster. And then we can see whatever configuration is filled out in the package, that is being basically that's automatically done by Nephew, so that we can actually check if it's all done, and then we can publish that to the cluster, and because of after which the RIC operator will be deployed. So this is how we can deploy the RIC operator, and once the RIC operator is up and running in the edge cluster, we can move to deployment of near-RT. So with the help of the RIC operator. So here we can see here also we need to create the KPT package and also create the package variant to basically deploy on the edge cluster. So after all the near RTRIC deployment is created, the RIC operator will be running on the edge cluster, which will be listening to the CR that is created on the edge cluster. So once the CR is created for the corresponding CRD, the RIC operator will actually deploy the near RTRIC in the edge cluster. So that's how the flow looks like. Like for the development that is needed, like for R3, we are planning. So create the KPT package. I think similar, using the RIC operator, like reuse the ORAN SC, and then create the CRD if any changes required from ORAN SC CRD, or we can just use it again. And then we have to create a package variant, so that will also be required. And then the like once the operator is deployed through the first 3 steps, then we need to create the KPT package for the near RTRIC package. Similar to that package variant, actually this is all repetitive. So whatever I explained in the flow, so that all is needed for the software development part also. And API design, I think it's just the custom CRD that we'll be making. So it will just have the list of components to be enabled. So basically in near RTRIC, there are various services that are there. So which components do we need for basic working of the near RTRIC, that we can enable, or we can add on a different component. So so this list will define what we are deploying, and also the corresponding images that we're using, like which tags and which like location of the images we are taking from, that also we can provide in the CRD. And for testing, I was just like not really sure, like there was a question related to like, are we just going to like see if all the pods are running, that will be like good enough, or we can do anything. So for now, we're thinking that we'll just after the RIC operator and near RTRIC is deployed, we'll just see that if all the pods are running successfully and there are no restarts or crash loopbacks. And like for stretch, we can see like basically the services are working properly in near RTRIC. So mainly it will be 2 interfaces, A1 and E2. So there was a question for on A1 and E2 also. Like for A1, we need non-RTRIC, but we can do it independently also. Like there are some APIs which we can check if it's working. It's just for the functionality purpose, that if the near RTRIC is configured properly and it's up and running properly, so we can check if A1 APIs are working fine. And for E2, yeah, this will require OAI with some network configuration, so that E2 like OAI is able to connect to near RTRIC. So all that network configuration will be required, and once that is done and OAI is deployed, we can actually test the E2 interface also. So this is part of a stretch testing. Like I think it will be end-to-end kind of testing. Like once it is deployed, we are able to check that if the A1 interface is basically northbound interface and the E2 interface, southbound interfaces are working properly. So yeah, I think
there was questions about so this is non-real time, or the near real time, right?
Near real time.
And then there's XApps. So are you going to create a different use case for XApps, or what are we doing for that? Right?
Yeah, there was so yeah, I agree with, I think it was from Anders. I'm not really sure, but yeah, so I agree with Anders. Like we have to create a new user story that will be good for XApps, since the complete flow, like the complete flow remains same, but the KPT packages and some of the functionalities, like it will require some configuration which is not required in near RTRIC. So that all those configuration will require actually changes in the KPT package and may require changes in the KPT functions also.
right.
So yeah, we can create a new user story. So I actually wanted to discuss this part next after completing this. Like if there is some question regarding deployment of near artery, else we can go and discuss that if we need a new user story, for example.
All right. So guys, are there any questions on the near real-time RIC? So
a quick question. So I mean, I think one step I'm not sure if you missed it. So once you create a package variant, are you going through the specialization process through? I mean, are you leverage because you have at least two interfaces to handle, right? So from the IPAM perspective, you might need some NATs and stuff. So are you doing all that? I mean, are you completely bypassing that?
No. Yeah, as of now, so I'm passing the specialization part. So basically for A1, so there is no configuration required. For E2 also, so configuration will be required on the E2 side, right? Once near RTRIC is up, so E2 should know what is the IP address or which interface to connect to. So if we bring up E2 or basically OAI, that time, so it should be aware of the near arteric and the IP, or like basically in the near arteric there is E2 term service which actually connects to the E2 node. So the currently in ORAN, how it is done is we give the IP to the E2 node. Like basically we are using a simulator there, and we place the IP and then build it up and then bring it up as a pod.
yeah, but you're going to need Nefio infrastructure for the E2 to hook up the ODU and the OCU from OAI to the non-real-time RIC is what Robbie's saying. So we need to show the package specialization for that.
Okay, sorry.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Robbie.
Yeah, I mean, you can, I don't know, if you just take the normal default Kubernetes networking, you would require a secondary interface for this, but it all depends how, generally my assumption was that you're
all right,
probably
but if you look at the
deployment,
yeah, but if you look at the deployment, they're in different clusters. Like I think we've got a deployment of the ODU and the OCU and the OCUCP. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sagar, are in different network segments, right? So we're going to need specialization. My point is, we are going to need specialization for the E2. So I think we need to account for that in the user story.
Okay.
Right.
So by specialization, like what all things do we require? So if I can get, so because
okay, so talk to Joseph and Sagar. They should be able to give you what specializations you'll need to set that up, right?
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, I think Naman, I think Naman, I think we discussed initially regarding E2 interface, but I think we thought initially we'll try with the simulator probably, and then when you're going with the E2 nodes, maybe this using OAI to connect via E2, then I think we might need to add the interface and add the interfaces. I mean the interface for the network that we create for E2, and then the OA also needs to use the same network and then receive the IP.
Got it. Yeah.
So that is why I think you added it as part of the stretch goal. Probably that's
let's make sure, guys, that the E2 interface we really should try to do that in release 3, because we need to be able to stitch up the near real-time RIC with the DUs and the Cs, right? So if it's all possible, I don't think we should make this a stretch goal. We should make this, if we can, unless there's a reason not to do this, right? I think this is important to saying that we're deploying a near real-time RIC, guys. We can't stitch up an E2, we're in trouble. I understand the A1 because the SMO may not have a non-real-time RIC ready to stitch up, which is fine. But E2 is important for release 3, my point.
Okay.
The minimum functionality to AP, I think that's important.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So when you've got that updated, let me know, or let us know on let us know on the Slack, and we'll schedule at that point. We'll go check to make sure. Maybe next week we'll do a quick check to see how we're doing. All right. So if I understand it, we've got new operators that we'll need for the XApp and CRDs for the XApp, and we've got new operators and CRDs that we'll need for the near real-time RIC, and we've got some networking that we need to stitch up between the two, between the near real-time RIC and the ODUs and OCUs. Is that accurate?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All right. And that's what we really need to tell the network automation, right? Because they've got a deployment piece that already the ODUs and the OCUs are deployed in. There's got them in their own clusters and everything else. So they're going to need to know, that where we're going to place the near real-time RIC, and so they know if there's anything that they have to do special to stitch it up.
Yeah, right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
it makes sense. Yeah.
All right, guys. So it's 2 minutes till. I did not get notifications for the cluster stories, but I think that Bala's working on those. So the OCloud registration and cluster stories. Anything else before we close? Okay. What I have recorded is that we have one that is ready to go to network automation. I'll make the announcement on the appropriate Slack channels that this is ready for review. And then next week we should have updates for the other two that we reviewed. All right. Any questions before we leave? All right. Okay. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next Wednesday. Later.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. Bye.